The following program is furnished by K1 International, LLC, and is responsible for its content. Now, from the 5th floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Texas. Welcome to Inside Real Estate, sports, entertainment, politics. Mike Kruizinga here, your host and local Dallas-Fort Worth area realtor. Hey, by the way, the website is InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. You can connect with me and all of our partners of the show for everything your heart desires in business. And all of our stories that we cover, of course, are on our Pinterest page, so you can link over our Pinterest pages from the website, and then, of course, all of our other social media feeds as well. Had a great interview the past couple weeks. Actually, been a couple great interviews the past few weeks. We had Dick Morris on the show. Great interview with him, talking about his book, Armageddon, and, of course, the global events. And then we had a great sports segment interview with Nick Eatman, author of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically a weekend of football in the Lone Star State. And so that was a great interview with him as well. Both great books, by the way, both great books that I've read cover to cover, and highly recommend both of those. So you can check our archive on the website for those interviews, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, and then the archive page there. By the way, you know, myself and all of our colleagues and our experts that come on the show, you know, we are here to help you. You know, there's one thing that we all have in common, and we want to help people. You know, I want to help you with your real estate investments and, you know, just purchasing and selling, you know, real estate in general. You don't have to be, you know, an investor at all. And, of course, our colleagues in mortgage and insurance and home improvement. And we brought a new partner on board as well, which helps people get out of their timeshares. And we all have one thing in common, and that is helping you with your needs in business. And so we hope you think about us when you're coming around that bend of life and needing to do something in any of those categories. And hope that you'll give us a call and just go to the website, and you can look up all of our numbers. We all answer the phone. All of our cell phone numbers are on our website, so you can call us anytime. We'll be happy to take care of you. If you are actively looking for real estate, by the way, you can download the app, which is DFW Metroplex Real Estate, DFW Metroplex Real Estate. And great app there. You can find that in your smartphone app stores, and you'll be good to go. Also, a couple great listings I wanted to mention. We've got a great listing, darn near 6,000 square feet on over 18 acres with a 5-acre pond out in Glen Rose. This is absolute charm out there. Just a beauty of a home. Just a little bit south of $900,000. Great price point, and just a beautiful, beautiful home. That's out in Glen Rose. A great property on the golf course over in Granbury. And so if you're looking for a golf course lot, we've got a beauty down in Granbury. It's got a really nice custom pool, heated and spa, only 2 years old. So we've got a great property for you there as well. So catch up with me, and we'll talk more about that. But there's also a lot of great properties coming on the market, and a lot of great properties we have listed with our office as well. So just wanted to mention those two beauties that for sure down in the southwest side of the Metroplex. We're going to do a little bit of headlines real quick before we kind of move on into the rest of the show. I've got a few of these that I didn't get to the other day, and I wanted to get these out to you. Got some good information here. As you know, Bear was looking to buy Monsanto, and of course everything needs to get signed, sealed, and delivered with that, but it does look like it's about done. $66 billion on the table, Bear to buy Monsanto, and so that was a pretty interesting one. And of course there's a lot going on with the TPP, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and if the TPP does pass, then corporate tribunals will be taking over the adjudication of disputes when a nation decides it wants to reject importing toxic pesticides, medical drugs, or GMOs in products. And so basically the TPP is going to have control over that, which means, you know, we may be seeing some issues with products coming out where the USDA and the FDA don't necessarily have to approve it or label it as so. So it could be some blowback from that. So we'll have to see how that goes in the next year or two. Very interesting, that one indeed. What else do we have? Well, we still have some Kaepernick stuff going on. But, somebody who I would have thought would have come out against Kaepernick came out the opposite way. You remember Jesse the Body Ventura, former governor of Minnesota, said he's absolutely 100% on his side, said he went to war for Colin Kaepernick's right to say whatever he wants. So Jesse Ventura, fully 100% behind him, say whatever he wants. On the other side of that, we've got Rep. Steve Keene of Iowa, and he said that maybe he's becoming Islamist. He said that his fiancée is an Islamist, and that quite possibly maybe he's becoming one. Maybe he's becoming radicalized, and this was what Representative Steve Keene of Iowa was saying. And of course, Kaepernick said that's not the case at all, and that that's basically Islamophobia. But there's a couple tidbits for you on the Kaepernick stuff, which is still going on. Hey, let's go to a couple real estate headlines. Highland Park property, the Pinson House, went for $4.95 million at auction here recently, and it's about an 8,900 square foot property over on Armstrong. And of course, neighbors, by the way, nearby neighbors are Troy Aikman and Jerry Jones's estate are in the area as well. And actually a really good deal. Now, this property was immaculately maintained, but it was actually never really updated. So although it happens to be in Highland Park, great location, a lot of work to be done to it, which is why it went for $4.95 million. But in any case, $4.95 million is still a pretty good deal, because most homes in that area do not go south of $10 million at all. Many are valued anywhere between $10 to about $30 million, and then of course some of the larger ones are way north of there. But average house in that area usually you see around 10 to 30. But of course there are a number of properties, estate properties over there that are much north of that. So actually a pretty good deal on this property here at $4.95 at auction. So the Pinson House right over there in Highland Park. Hey, Allen is getting more business. They've got a new data center project that's going to be opening up soon. St. Louis-based TierPoint LLC spending more than $20 million on the first phase of the project, which is over on the west side of U.S. Highway 75. Near Stacy Road. So Allen's getting some more business. And in fact, we're getting a lot of these data centers really all over the Metroplex. We're really becoming a hub for data centers. TierPoint itself has 39 data centers in 20 U.S. markets in 18 states. And phase one starting up over in Allen. And we're actually getting quite a few of those data centers from various companies all over the Metroplex. So that's more good news, more jobs, more business. And as you know, we're growing leaps and bounds here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Remember Blockbuster Video? Remember when we used to rent videos back in the day? Well, their warehouse complex up in McKinney has been kind of sitting empty for a while. But now it's fully leased out. We got a UPS terminal up there and a paper warehouse up there. That's up there in McKinney, U.S. Highway 75. And so finally got that thing leased up. That thing's been sitting empty for a while because nobody rents videos anymore, or DVDs. Of course, we rented DVDs, I guess, for a while, but nobody rents anything anymore. I mean, you got the red box, and that's about it. Hey, we had a record set here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with a piece of property. Illinois-based real estate firm that represented this investor, and they paid nearly $15 million. And the per square foot, folks, this was over $375 per square foot. The property was only about 1 acre, but it's very prime real estate next to Victory Park on Field Street, 2501 North Field Street. And wow, $375 a square foot. Unbelievable price tag, which was setting a record. Prior to that, over at the northwest corner of Pearl Street and Woodall Rogers, property sold for more than 300 a square foot. A property over there, but this one went unbelievably higher than that one. Now, there have been a few others going at around 500 a square foot, 510 a square foot in Uptown as well. But this one, that looked to be going for that, but this one set a record and it's done. So how about you right there? Dallas-Fort Worth growing leaps and bounds. So folks, that's going to round it out for now. Hey, we're going to take a short break, then we're going to come on back. We got a lot of real estate, mortgage, business talk, home improvement talk. We're going to have a blast. Come on back, folks. We'll see you in a few.
What is it about buying a mattress that leaves you feeling violated? Is it the pushy salespeople, the fake President's Day sale, or the fact that you know you'll regret what you bought as you do the walk of shame out of the mattress store? I'm here to tell you, those days are over. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, co-founder of Helix Sleep, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we create your custom sleep profile to build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Your mattress will arrive at your door in about a week, and shipping is 100% free. You have 100 nights to try it out, and if you don't love it, we'll pick it up for free and give you a 100% refund, no questions asked. It's like it never happened. If you do love your new Helix mattress, keep it, and your dignity. That's why everyone from GQ magazine to Forbes are all talking about Helix Sleep. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio and get $50 off your order. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
If you have a timeshare, this time of year you're probably thinking about those maintenance fees coming due. Hi, I'm Karen Holloway, owner of Lone Star Transfer, located right here in the DFW area. Before you pay your maintenance fees, call us for a free consultation, 972-722-3166. We'll get you out of your timeshare and put a stop to those maintenance fees. Guaranteed. 972-722-3166 or LoneStarTransfer.com.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga, and it's time for some mortgage and real estate talk. We're going to be talking jumbo loans with our good friend Terri Wagner over at Supreme Lending. Her website, terriwagner.com. And don't forget, you can always just sign up right on her website and sign an application right there. And, of course, get all kinds of good information. But I always recommend giving her a call as well. Terri, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
I'm really good.
Good. Yeah, our website is really an awesome place to go, even if, you just want to do some browsing. And there's lots of really cool tools on there. So, yes, please visit us on my website, terriwagner.com.
Absolutely.
Okay, so today I thought that, Supreme Lending has got several jumbo products. But I thought that I would bring to the forefront today a jumbo product that we have that is just 10% down with no mortgage insurance. What? How do we do that?
That's right. Yeah,
because we're Supreme Lending, that's how.
Well, I bet you a lot of people aren't thinking that that's even an option.
Right.
10% down on a jumbo.
And it is. Obviously, there are some requirements with every loan product that there is. So I wanted to just go over those real quick with folks this morning in case that was something they were looking at doing. Wanted to purchase a home that would fit within the jumbo category. And again, jumbo loan is anything over $417,000 loan amount, not sales price, but loan amount. Okay. So if your loan amount is $417,001, then that would be a jumbo. Okay.
Very good.
We can do, on this particular product, we can do a fixed rate. We can do an ARM. Not a lot of people do ARMs anymore, but they do have their place in the marketplace still. There are some that prefer the ARM rate. Mm-hmm. So we offer those. You can also do a cash out. So if you're in a jumbo right now and you need to get out of it, you can do a cash out refinance on a jumbo, not necessarily this 10% down with no MI. Because in the state of Texas, you have to have 20% equity. Right. But we can do a cash out on a jumbo.
Okay.
We have two eligible borrowers. U.S. citizen, first-time home buyer. You can be a first-time home buyer and still qualify, if everything else fits the parameters, still qualify for a jumbo loan with 90% down, no MI. Permanent resident alien. Okay, so first-time home buyer is, again, the definition is if you have not owned a property in the last 3 years, most recent 3 years, you're a first-time home buyer. Even though you owned one 10 years ago, and you moved here from somewhere else and you've rented forever and you decide now it's time to buy, you're still a first-time home buyer. 30-year fixed, you have to have a 720 minimum credit score. So you've got to have some good credit.
Sure.
But I guess you should if you're buying a $1 million home.
If you're buying a larger home, absolutely.
Maximum loan amount is $1 million for first-time home buyers.
For that product,
For that product, okay? Maximum debt-to-income ratio for a first-time home buyer on this product is 38%. So we have to have your A-plus borrower here for this product.
Okay.
Now, if you're not a first-time home buyer, you can, if you're doing the 90% no MI, you have to have a 740 credit score, but you can go up to $1.5 million. Again, not first-time home buyer.
Right.
38% still debt ratio. And you have to have 15 months reserves on this product. But I think we talked about this last time, and this is one of those products where it's dedicated, where we underwrite it in-house.
Right.
So a lot of times when you're on a jumbo product and you have to go outside to be underwritten outside of our office, it can really add up on the days for processing the loan.
Right.
You can take up to 2 months to process a jumbo loan. Typically, it doesn't take that long. Usually, it's about 45 days, but it can take up to 60.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. Non-permanent resident aliens can also purchase using this product. They cannot have diplomatic immunity. They are ineligible if they do. They are capped at 70% loan to value. Their debt ratio can be 43%, and they need 6 months reserves.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
So you can use this product if you're purchasing a home as your primary residency or your second home. If it's your primary residency, obviously that's a property that you're going to occupy. You're going to use that as your primary residency. It's going to be your homestead. Second home is anything that a second home is. You can't have a second home right down the street from your primary residency. The second home, underwriter's going to scratch your head and say, really, is this a second home? What's it used for?
Right.
So a lot of people try to get away with that too on a second home. You know, they'll buy a second home across the neighborhood or something like that. But a second home truly has to fit the parameters of a second home. Where is it located? Is it in a resort area? Is it far away from where you live now? Is it near a lake or an ocean or, you know, somewhere down south, something like that? Those are going to be second homes. On a golf course where right now you're living, you know, in a crowded metroplex, but your second home's on a golf course. Those types of second homes make sense to an underwriter. So we have to make sense of it to the underwriter.
It's kind of got to be obvious.
Right. What I thought was interesting on this particular product is these are manually underwritten. We don't run it through the automated system. You know, we're talking about the automated system all the time.
Right.
But this particular product is not ran through the automated system. It's a manual underwrite. So we have to make sure it fits all of our guidelines. Okay. So on a purchase, again, you have to have greater than... no property flipping on these products. Prior owner must have owned the property greater or larger than 6 months or longer than 6 months. Interested party contribution. So when you're buying a jumbo home, you know, we talk about seller paid closing costs. You can still have those on this product. If you're doing, let me find it here. I want to say it's 3%. No, it's 2%. If it's your if it's a second home, and up to 9% if it's your primary, depending on what your LTV is.
Okay.
So up to 9% you can have that.
And assistance.
That's right, in down payment assistance.
Okay.
If you're doing a rate and term, we have to just make sure that that we meet all the guidelines, that the reserves are met, everything like that. So you can do a rate and term, or you can do a cash out, again, depending on what your loan to value is. In the state of Texas, you have to retain 20% equity. So if you're doing a cash out, we have to make sure that that's the case. Okay. So it's a great product. It's one that if you're looking at doing a jumbo loan, we certainly should look at. Again, Supreme Lending's got like 9 different products for the jumbo buyer.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to bring this one to the forefront a little bit and make people aware that you can purchase a jumbo product with as little as 10% down.
Yeah, it's a great product. And, like you say, there are a few stipulations that you got to go through. You are going to be manually underwriting it. You're going to be doing it in-house, which is a good thing because it'll take less time.
Right.
15 months of reserves. But, once you're purchasing in that ballpark range, you're expected to kind of have those cash reserves already anyway, so that shouldn't more than likely be a problem. But the fact that it's a 90-10, 10% down, and then on top of that, the no mortgage insurance.
That's crazy.
So I think that's hugely appealing to people. People are probably unaware of this. And for the folks that don't shop around like they should, and they're hearing this, and if they know anybody or if they're thinking about it themselves, this is a 90-10 product, 10% down, and no mortgage insurance, which is a rare product to find for sure.
Right. I'm spent the better part of this week so far just talking with people trying to refinance their property to get rid of mortgage insurance. So this is a great product to not even start out with mortgage insurance on a jumbo loan.
And this is one that we can use as on a refi as well?
Right. You sure can.
Okay.
Yeah, you sure can.
Yeah, so that's huge. And pretty much we should just walk around all day, every day, just down the street, 90-10,
right.
No mortgage insurance.
That's right.
Like, what?
That's right. What?
People are just going to be following us everywhere.
You think they will?
I think so.
So, and with this product, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things on the credit report and what we'll be looking for there. Obviously, we're going to use the mid score. We've talked about credit scores before. But on your housing history, we want to make sure that there are no over 30s in the last 2 years. So if you've been past due on your mortgage in the last 2 years, that creates a problem on this product.
Okay.
Rental history, if you didn't have a previous mortgage rental history, we're going to have to go back and do what we call a VOR, a verification of rental history, and we're looking to make sure that there's no late payments in the last 24 months on that as well.
Okay.
So we're going to look back 2 years on that.
For sure.
And then on the actual credit report, we're going to need a minimum of 3 open trade lines, 3 different credit cards, car payments, loans. We need 3 of those that have a 24-month history. So you can't have just gone out and opened 3 credit cards 6 months ago, and that's going to suffice for this loan type. We're going to need some history on that.
Okay.
Current housing obviously doesn't have to be reported like we talked about it. We can order a verification of rent. Any trade lines on these 3 minimum trade lines, any trade line that has delinquencies in the last 12 months, we're going to need a pretty reasonable letter of explanation on why that happened.
Okay.
So we're looking for, and most of this is almost just common sense, because if you have a 720 or a 740 credit score, you probably don't have that anyway.
Right. It's going to match up.
It's going to match up.
Yeah.
There's no bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales, deed in lieu, none of that in the last 7 years. But that's on any conventional loan. There are exceptions on just your regular conforming conventional loan, but on this product, no exceptions.
Okay.
Just none of that in the last 7 years. All judgments must be paid for either at or before closing. Again, that's on any product. All past, here's something that's a little different. Non-title charge-offs. So if you've got a charge-off on your credit or a collection account that exceeds $1,000, they're going to require you that to be paid. So we're really going to be looking at the credit report kind of strenuously here on this product. But again, we should be on this product.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're going to be going without the mortgage insurance and you're only putting 10% down, then it makes sense, absolutely.
Because we've talked about before the importance of mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is not the enemy. Mm-hmm. This is a great product without the mortgage insurance, but mortgage insurance creates some opportunities for folks to purchase a home that wouldn't be able to purchase a home without mortgage insurance.
Right, exactly.
Because it safeguards the lender against default.
Right.
So again, like you said, with this particular product with no mortgage insurance, they're certainly going to look to make sure that their interest is protected.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point because, with the other traditional loans, everyone looks at mortgage insurance as a bad thing. But you're right. It does allow those riskier buyers to be able to get into a home.
Right.
Obviously we don't have to worry about it in this price range, but yeah, you're going to have to be a, well-qualified buyer. But if you're in that ballpark, if you're in that range, this is the ultimate option for you to go no mortgage insurance, 10% down.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're always talking about the borrower that has some credit issues, and we can help them, and we certainly can. But we like talking to people that we don't have to fix their credit to.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing is that we've got some great perks,
right.
And some great options,
right.
For you guys. If you're in that ballpark and your credit scores are good, your reserves are good, financially you've been taking care of things.
Right.
And maybe you've been lucky too because you haven't been hit with anything. Mm-hmm. So that's great. We can take care of you. We got some perks for you. And then of course for all the folks that hey, you've had some deans here and there. We've still got programs for you to get you in as well.
Absolutely. And we would love, I would love to discuss your particular situation at any time and help you through the process and get you started so that you can become a homeowner. Right now it's crazy, really, if you're not looking to purchase if you don't already own.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Well, that's some great information, folks. That's the Jumbo 9010 product that Terri has available over at Supreme Lending, and highly recommend checking in with her about that or any other program. TerriWagner.com is the website. Check in with her. Folks, another good segment. Hey, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness but accidentally hit a parked car. Great. Something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Click the banner to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn and kill those weeds that popped up over the summer. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding and weed killing routes using Scott's Turf Builder Bonus S Weed and Feed. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots and to kill dollarweed and clover. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
The Richard Tonica Insurance Agency in Arlington has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the Richard Tonica Insurance Agency network. Richard can quote over 20 A-rated companies to find the best fit for you, the best policy at the best price. Call Richard today at 817-286-2002. It's the Richard Tonica Goosehead Insurance Agency, 817-286-2002.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. Website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. We've got our favorite folks, Brian and Karen Holloway here from Lone Star Transfer. They are your experts in getting you out of your timeshare. We're going to talk timeshare exit strategy, and today we're going to talk a little bit about maintenance fees as well. Those dreaded maintenance fees. If you're a timeshare owner, you know what we're talking about. By the way, their website, LoneStarTransfer.com. Guys, how are we doing today?
We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
Great. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. Good to see you guys again. And so, those maintenance fees really are dreaded. And so let's talk about why they are dreaded because they're so expensive, and talk about the fact that really they can change all the time.
That's right. And this time of year, timeshare owners are pretty much not really wanting to go out to their mailbox and looking at that maintenance fee bill because they have no idea what that amount is going to be.
Right. Tell me why this maintenance fee can change so much.
It really depends on the resort. I think across the board, most timeshare owners experience an increase in their maintenance fees every year. Sometimes it's a lot, and sometimes it can be a small amount. But when you're talking about a perpetual contract, it can really add up.
Yeah. And the thing about these timeshare contracts is that there's really no limits or constraints in them. They are really written openly from the perspective of the timeshare company and definitely not the consumer by any stretch. So if you wonder why, how can it keep going up and up and up all the time? Well, there's really nothing in the contract that says it can't. And so since they can, then they do.
Yeah, there's various reasons. And a little story, growing up in Rockwall, my sixth grade teacher coming into our office one time, and we helped her out of her timeshare, and she had showed us her bill where they increased by, they doubled in the amounts because one resort bought out another resort. So there's various reasons why they can go up.
And a lot of times, and in some cases, maybe there's some legitimate reasons, if you will, as legitimate as it can be, for timeshares, when you're just a fractional owner. But it's really unfortunate that people get into some of these situations and they just keep getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, I'd have to say timeshare owners feel that way in a lot of cases. A lot of timeshare owners bought their timeshares years ago, and they loved it, and it worked for them.
Right.
But and those maintenance fees might have been even a little bit annoying back then. But boy, when you haven't used it for a couple of years and you are still required to pay those maintenance fees, it can really, really be disturbing to a lot of timeshare owners.
Yeah, and the way inflation is, and those fees just keep going up and up and up. It's pretty ridiculous. And we've said this before. If you are a timeshare owner and you're a happy timeshare owner, well, then by all means, that's great. We're not here to say timeshares are just a horrible, horrible thing. But unfortunately, the consumer voice really is what it is on timeshares, and that there's just too many horror stories about it. And so where there's smoke, there is fire, and I would always encourage people, if you're thinking about a timeshare, there's a lot of better ways to go. But if you are in one and you happily got into one, there's probably going to be a time at some point in the future that you're going to want to get out of it. And you're going to then think, well, I'll just get out of my timeshare. Well, not so easy. And so you're going to need some of the folks like Lone Star Transfer to help get you out of it. But along with maintenance fees, let's talk about, there's also these things called special assessments. Isn't that right?
Yeah, there is. Special assessments can come up and above the maintenance fees, and you really don't have any idea how much it can be and when it's coming. So not only when you go out to that mailbox and you find the maintenance fee bill, a lot of times your owners are very concerned about being hit with a special assessment.
Yeah. And it's not that you can just disregard these maintenance fees letters or special assessment letters, because they'll get pretty stingy and come on after you, won't they?
Yes, sir. We've seen some different things. People have showed us several different letters where, they come after them different ways. Attaching to their credit, just coming after them legally, and it's a bill that they have to pay. Yeah,
and I wish everybody. The timeshare process is so brutal when you're actually going through a timeshare process, and for whatever reason, maybe you get talked into it and you just go with it, and you're like, oh well, let's just do it. And if we don't like it in a year or two, we'll get out. But the fact of the matter is once you sign it, you're in it and you're not getting out. And give me a story about somebody that just hit that reality. Like they got into it and they actually really did want it. Or maybe they got into it thinking, oh, we'll use it a year or two and then we'll get out. But then reality set in, you can't get out of it. Tell me a little bit about a story. I know you got a gazillion of them.
Yeah, we do.
About one of those where just reality hit and they're like, we couldn't get out of it. We tried and we just didn't know how strong this contract was. And I know that reality hits for so many people.
I'd have to say probably the majority of our clients. And we were just sitting with somebody last week that came into our office and just had no idea when they signed on that dotted line really what was going to be required of them, if they were using that timeshare or not. And for this couple, they were finding it very difficult to get what they wanted. They were under the impression that when they bought the timeshare, it would be a little bit easier to use. And it was very difficult for them. And they really felt like what was told to them did not work out.
Right. Yeah, and I think, so many consumers out there have had this experience where somehow they do get into the timeshare, even thinking maybe it'll be good for a few years and then they'll get out of it later. But then thinking that it's going to be easy to use, and that maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they do see all the pros and the benefits of doing it and get sold, if you will, on that. But then they come to find out it doesn't really work that way. And so, folks, you need to really think hard about, if you've ever thought about timeshares or even thought about going to a timeshare seminar for something free. Oh, boy. Do not let them hammer you down unless you really evaluated it and you think it's the right thing to do, because guess what? It's going to be very difficult to get out of it. Folks, we've had a really good segment here with the folks over at Lone Star Transfer, the owners, Brian and Karen Holloway. Look, they're here to help you get out of your timeshares. Maybe there was a moment of weakness and you signed into one, but now you're like, oh, my God, how do I get out? Lone Star Transfer can take care of you. They're right here in the Metroplex. Website, LoneStarTransfer.com, LoneStarTransfer.com, and the phone number 972-722-3166. If you just got one of those maintenance letters and you're like, oh, my God, I'm tired of paying those maintenance fees. This is the last year. Call Lone Star, go to their website, and talk to Brian and Karen Holloway. They'll get you taken care of. Folks, Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruizinga. We'll see you in a few. Folks, it's Mike the Realtor here from Inside Real Estate, and if you're not listing your property with me, bottom line is you're leaving money on the table. There are over 15,000 agents here in the DFW area, most of whom are part-time and do a few deals a year. Do you want to trust them to sell your home? I think not. Call Mike the Realtor, the radio realty expert from Inside Real Estate on 570 AM KLIF. Promise you will get to me direct. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Don't sell your home with just anyone. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com and connect with Mike the Realtor.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Permapeer Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Permapeer Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Permapeer at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapeer.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Far from the shores of home, two African-American U.S. Army privates fight for their lives on the battlefronts of World War II. The first Black war correspondents fight to cover the perspective of the black soldier. The novel A Private War weaves all this and more into an epic World War II era story of friendship, conflict, religion, and redemption. Get a copy of Private War, a novel by Perry Cockrell today, now available on Amazon.com. And tune in regularly to Inside Real Estate Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. to hear Perry Cockrell, attorney at law, as he provides expert analysis of the latest and greatest in legal news.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. Guess who I got right here live in studio with me? It's Randy Addington of Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs. The website, hydrojetwalkintubs.com. Randy, what's going on over there?
Good morning, Mike.
Hey, so, all right, Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs. Let's get just down to the nuts and bolts, the basics of this. What the heck is a hydrojet anyway?
Well, when I was doing my due diligence and research on getting into the walk-in tub industry several years ago, I noticed that you can get anything from a soaker tub, which is just, getting wet, or you can get one that's loaded up with all kinds of bells and whistles. And I become really intrigued with the water and jet action, what they call hydrotherapy. So I decided to name our company Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs because 99% of all the tubs we do have there's 10 and 18 water and air jets for a total of 28 in our tub. Wow. That's some serious action right there.
That is serious action. 28 jets.
Yeah. So the hydrotherapy part of our tub, to me, is the only reason to get one. If you just want a tub to soak in, I'm not your man. I do have them, but I'll try to talk you out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, might as well go with the full 28 jet model. Yeah, this thing, and I've always said this before too, that look, folks, this is not just first of all, look, it's a great product. You need it as you move on in life. It's a simple walk in, walk out tub. and the hydrotherapy is great. But we're talking about this is great for your muscles. If you're playing golf, you're playing racquetball, you're playing tennis, all kinds of things that you do to lead an active lifestyle, or you're just working in the garden. The muscles get all tightened up, and being able to have that hydrotherapy to loosen you up is pretty huge. And I've started to realize that, I probably need some hydrotherapy myself and a little extra stretching,
Yeah, and I tell you, we call it the hydrojet difference. Experience the hydrojet difference. And by that, what I mean is, what you've got to consider is there are a lot of my competition. There is a huge gap between a soaker tub. You're paying too much for it anyway, but their soaker tub will be $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and then their other tub will be 19 or 20 because of all the accessories. So people, for cost reasons, they're just talking about mobility issues, so they go with the less expensive one. Because with us, our tubs price is where we make our margins, our profit. We don't make anything on the shipping, the installation, or the accessories. So to get a soaker tub from me is only about $900 less than my hydrojet tub. Why would you, for $900 savings, forfeit the tax deduction of making it a medical tub? Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. And your full model is less than most of the competition's soaker tub.
That's right.
So they're trying to charge you $10,000 for a soaker tub. Your full model is that or less, depending on if it's installed or uninstalled. But if it's installed, it's less than that. And it's the full deal, the 28 jets of power.
Yeah, exactly. And check this out. This is not me talking. This is actual doctors that have said this. And I'm not making any medical claims here on the radio, but I am going to say that in one treatment, hydrotherapy, that's the water and the air jets running at the same time. That's what hydrotherapy is. After 5 minutes, your blood pressure and pulse rates start to drop. After 10 minutes, your circulation improves in your hands and feet. After 15 minutes, your muscles are relaxed. And after 20 minutes, aches and pains will experience a temporary decrease in severity. Then if you go on to 3 treatments and 5 treatments and 10 and 20, your immune system improves. You get tension, emotional, physical. I know of people that have got off. I'm not making medical claims here, but I know of people that have gotten off of blood pressure, all cholesterol medicine. It's helped them with their fibromyalgia, because the more you do it, and we recommend that you at least spend 20 minutes in this tub 3 times a week. And you can do, I know people that do it twice a day because they love it. It's like having a hot tub in your bathroom.
Yeah, it really is. I've got a hot tub at my house, out in the backyard by the pool, and I swear by it. I really do. Gets my lower back loosened up, gets my calves, my legs loosened up, and I swear by it. And if I could get one in the bathtub, then in the bathroom, well, heck, that would just be gold.
Yes, and people don't wake up in the morning and look over at the wife or the husband and say, honey, call around and see if we can find us one of them walk-in tubs today. It's usually there has to be a need for it.
Right.
But I've even had customers tell me this, seniors, they know they're frugal. They know how to manage their checkbook. They know how to squeeze a nickel and get a dime. They've been raised that way. I love their generation. And one of the things they tell me all the time is, man, I see what the cost of assisted living is. I see what the cost of skilled nursing facility is. And your tub be a drop in the bucket, because days 21 through 100 in a nursing home, you have a copay, whether you like it or not, of $100 a day. That's $8,000. And you've lost your independence and your dignity.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, back in the day, they had these commercials called Fram oil filter commercials, and it was like, you can pay me now or you can pay me later. Well, that's kind of how I look at the walk-in tub industry. Now, to pay $15,000, $20,000, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
But to get a good product for a fair price, it's really silly not to do it when you're going to end up giving it away to a nursing home or assisted living facility somewhere down the road. So give us a call sometime. We'll help you out.
Folks, another great segment here with Randy. The website is hydrojetwalkintubs.com, hydrojetwalkintubs.com. Phone number 855-980-8827. You can talk to Randy or his wife, Sheila, and they're going to get you all taken care of. Highly recommend it. Inside Real Estate, folks, with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few. Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true. And as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commission sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend and owner of Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today. With over 3.5 million square feet and 5 DFW locations, Ideal Floors has you covered for all your flooring needs. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, laminate, wood, or vinyl plank, Ideal Floors has you covered. And with their price match guarantee and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, they are the absolute best in DFW for all your flooring needs. Call Kevin Hamus, the owner of Ideal Floors, at 214-789-0422 or go to idealfloors.com for all your flooring needs.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruizinga, website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Time for an insurance segment for all you folks out there. We've got Richard Tonica here in studio. By the way, his phone number where you can catch up with him for all of your insurance needs, home, auto, toys, otherwise, 817-286-2002. That's 817-286-2002. Richard, what's going on today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Let's school some folks out there on some insurance, and let's help them out. Let's look, better policies, better prices. We are here to help the people.
Yes.
And so let's get them some info and see who we can help out there.
Okay. I was working with a customer just the other day, and he just started a claim, and as we were walking through it, I did what I normally do. I told him, it's like, okay, before we put in this claim, I'm going to send 2 people to you. I made sure that he was okay, his house was okay, and that there weren't any leaks. There wasn't anything going on to where we needed to put in a claim today. Because if we're going to do what we need to do, but we do our due diligence, but to find out what we need to do.
Absolutely.
And so walked him through the steps, gave him a few different contacts to call. And as he's making the call, he's like, why? Let's just put in the claim. I was like, well, do you really want to do that right now? And he's like, well, yeah, I want this to get paid out. And I was, well, I do too, but I'm redoing my roof right now. I put my claim in after I had 3 people come out to check my roof out. I'm not going to put in a claim on myself or one of my customers if I don't think it's going to be paid out.
Right.
If the customer wants to do that, that's up to them. All I can do is advise them, lead them a little bit, and tell them what I would personally do. And this is what I do. So I had 3 people come out to my roof, come out to my house, check out my roof, make sure that the damage that I thought I saw was actually there. Each one of them said, yes, this is this. I didn't tell them that I was the agent. I didn't let them know anything because I want an unbiased opinion.
Sure.
And these are the same companies that I've been using for a while, but the people that came out didn't know me. I didn't want them to know me because I want to see how they operate as well, because you're not always going to deal with the same person, but you may deal with the same company.
Right. Yeah. You want fresh eyes.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so I sent them out, gave him the contacts. He went ahead and called them. And it's like, well, one guy said that I didn't have enough to have a claim. Another guy said it may be 50-50. And when I have people that are going to get the job tell me that, well, I don't know if he's got enough damage, you're probably not, you don't have enough damage to put in a claim.
Right.
And that's kind of what we talk through is in doing our due diligence. If all three of them come back and say, yes, there is enough damage here that we need to put in a claim, then that's what we do. And we do it right then and there. And he picks whoever he wants to pick. I don't lead or anything else with that. And because with insurance, you can pick whoever you want to pick. It doesn't matter. A lot of times it doesn't matter if they're licensed or not, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But like I told him, even with my own personal house, I didn't want it done straight away. I wanted for the storm season to end. There is no point in putting a new roof on your house at the beginning of storm season. I'm sure all the people up in the Wiley area understand this, that yes, I may seem like I'm dragging my feet
mm-hmm.
for my customers sometimes because they want it done right now. But unless it's the reason I asked if it was leaking, if his roof was leaking, was
mm-hmm.
to find out, is there immediate damage? Is it going to make the roof any worse or anything, or
right.
is it going to do any additional damage? And then come in, and then that's when we take our next steps.
Yeah, because we don't need a new roof 2 weeks from now.
Exactly.
You know, when the next storm comes through and it's even worse than the first one.
And a catastrophic loss doesn't really affect your rate with every carrier. Some carriers it does. And especially if you have 2 roof claims within a matter of weeks, I mean, usually within 3 years, but much less. I mean, oh my goodness, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, most carriers are going to say, no, I'm sorry, this isn't a risk that we're willing to take.
Right.
And that's why we go through and kind of do our due diligence. Now, if you have a hole in your roof, yes, you get on it, get it taken care of. But like I said, I don't ever like changing a roof at the beginning of storm season if I can do it. So back to my personal house, I'm finally going to schedule mine mid-July. Now, that's not to say that the claim hasn't been in. It's been in. It's already been approved. Everyone's already gotten back to me, and I know exactly how much I have to pay out. I know what I'm covered for. I know all that.
Right.
But at the same time, we've talked about storm chasers in the past. I don't want people that don't do this every day of their life for a living to do my roof. Mm-hmm. I want people that, I don't want people that are doing the storm chasing where they're getting day laborers to make as much money, and it's not the people that they normally use on their normal crews.
Right.
I want their best crew working on my house, and I'm sure y'all do too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the reason when you see all these roofs being put up, I would advise you to wait your time if you can, because I want your best crew.
Right.
I want the best crews on my customers' homes that I can get. And when you've got every house in your neighborhood having a new roof, do you really think every house has their best crew out there?
Right.
Absolutely not.
No, because there's just too much. Yeah, there's too much that needs to be done, and you're absolutely right. And that's an excellent point. I think a lot of people probably don't even think about that, because as many new roofs are going on in the Metroplex, you know, you're right. They're going to fill in the labor force with whatever they can get, and these folks may not even be, roofers by trade at all.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, you don't want issues on the install, you know, of your roof. You know, I mean, it's your protection blanket over the house. You know, you want that done right.
Exactly.
You know?
Anything that's done to my house or one of my customers' house, I want the best people doing the best job possible.
Right.
And so, and I'm not saying that the roofers do this, but come on.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They don't all have a workforce that can handle that many houses.
No, they don't. Not at all. Not by a large stretch. So you're absolutely right. That's an excellent point. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably don't think about that at all. So yeah, I mean, if you do, it's one thing if the house is leaking, and it's got to be dealt with right then, right now, different story. But if it's not, then yeah, you might want to just, wait, and when they get to it, then they get to it with hopefully the best crew possible.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good point.
Well, that's part of what I do is it's my job to think about this for my customers to make sure that when they call me, we already have a plan in order for them and their house and exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, because making a claim isn't fun. It's stressful when it's a real legitimate claim, not that you're just excited to get a new roof because it's hail season. Hey, it's it's like trading in your car lease every 1 or 2 years. Hey, time for a new roof. Let's go. I don't know, light blue this time. It's if it's a good legitimate claim, hey, that's stressful. It's a pain in the rear end, and it's just stressful enough. And
yes.
So you have a plan of action for all of these things, and take care of your clients the right way. And just talking about that story right there says it. Kind of says it all right there. Folks, we've been talking to Richard Tonica over at Goosehead Insurance Agency, owner of, by the way, phone number to reach him, 817-286-2002, 817-286-2002. Give him a call for all your needs, not only homeowners insurance, but car, motorcycle, toy, anything you can think of that needs to be insured. I would call him because you're going to get a better policy at a better rate anyway. And look, you want to be covered when something happens. So, Richard, good talking to you again, and we'll be talking next week.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to it.
Same here. Folks, Inside Real Estate, Mike Kruizinga. See you in a few.
The preceding program was furnished by K1 International, LLC, and is responsible for its content.
I'm Dave Williams. Monday morning, Amy Shadroff and I will give you the news and reviews of the second presidential debate, and we'll tell you about a group of very wealthy, very bright technological scientists who believe the universe in which we live is a computer simulation. Monday morning on KLIF.
KLIF Dallas, KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth,
KLIF.com,
a Cumulus station.